Assalamualaikum dear CSS parents, welcome to this important lecture on Quranic Guidance on Good Governance, a topic that is highly relevant not just for your CSS preparation, especially in Islamic studies and current affairs, but also for developing a deep understanding of ethical leadership and public administration rooted in divine wisdom. So the Holy Quran provides timeless principles for just, effective and morally grounded governance. Whether you are preparing to become a future policy maker, civil servant or community leader, these Quranic values, justice, consultation, accountability, public welfare and the rule of law are foundational for creating a fair and balanced society. So in this lecture we will explore how these principles are not only spiritually enlightening but also practically applicable in the modern governance system. And I will also be providing PDF notes and a Google Form link with MCQs to help you reinforce your understanding and prepare effectively for the CSS 2026 exam. Let's begin our journey through the powerful guidance of the Quran on building a just and equitable state. So Quranic guidance on good governance. The Holy Quran is not just a book of worship and beliefs, but a comprehensive code of life that addresses individual, social, moral and government aspects of human existence. So the concept of good governance in Islam refers to the running the state with honesty, justice, accountability, consultation and public welfare. Islamic governance prioritizes service to people, justice, consultation, trust and social equity. So these principles are not only spiritually significant but also practical tools for effective and stable administration. So even modern developed nations follow principles rooted in Islamic teachings like transparency, checks and balance and rule of law. So for questions like discuss the Islamic concept of governance in the light of Quran. So this can help you to give you a strong foundation and introduction. So justice and central principles, foundational principles. Quranic verse, indeed Allah commands you to render trust to whom they are due, and when you judge between people to judge with justice. So justice is the most fundamental principle in Islamic governance. It is not limited to courts or judges but is essential in all decisions, personal, social and political. So justice must be delivered regardless of status, race, relation or wealth. For example, Khalifa Umar bin Abdul Aziz said, "Justice is the sword that even satisfies your enemies." So this verse and principles can be effectively used in questions such as justice as the foundation of Islamic governance or how justice builds state credibility. अब हम देखते हैं consultation. So Quranic verse, and consult them in matters then when you have decided, rely upon Allah. So Islam rejects autocratic rule. Consultation or mutual consultation is a key pillar of Islamic governance. So even the Prophet, peace be upon him, who received divine guidance, was commanded to consult the companion. So how much more important it is for today leaders. Consultation leads to better, more acceptable and inclusive decisions. So this is the Islamic model of participatory governance. For example, Abu Bakr consulted the companions before expecting the Khilafat and in decisions about conquest. So use this verse in topics like democracy in Islam or consultation in Islamic leadership. Then accountability and trust. Quranic verse, "O you who believe, do not betray Allah and a messenger or betray your trust while you know the consequences." So in Islam, rulers are not power holders but trustees and servants of the people. So they are accountable before Allah and the people. Public office is not a privilege but a trust. For example, Khalifa Umar who kept separate accounts for public and personal expenses. So he held himself accountable even in minor matters. For essays like corruption and Islamic values or accountability in Islamic governance, this verse provides a strong foundation. उसके बाद हम बात करते हैं promotion of public welfare. So incorporates, Quranic verse says, incorporates in righteousness and piety but do not cooperate in sin and aggression. The primary duty of a state is to safeguard the basic needs of its citizens like food, health, education, justice and jobs. So Islam commands actions that ensure collective well-being and forbids those that harm society. For example, in the state of Medina, the Prophet, peace be upon him, established public funds, social welfare systems and financial solidarity between migrants and residents. So use these in questions like public welfare in Islamic governance or Islam as a welfare state. Then rule of law and equality. So Quranic verse, O you who believe, be persistently standing firm in justice, witness for Allah, and even if it be against yourself or parents and relatives. So in Islam, law applies equally to everyone. Favoritism due to kinship, due to status or wealth is a form of injustice, so no one is above the law. For example, when a noble woman from the Quraysh committed theft, people tried to intercede. So the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, nations before you were destroyed because they let the rich go unpunished and punish the poor. So excellent for topics like rule of law in Islamic governance or legal equality in Islam. उसके बाद हम डिस्कस करते हैं prohibition of corruption को. So corruption has appeared throughout the land and sea by reason of what the hands of people have earned. So the Quran clearly condemns corruption and injustice. These are not just personal sins but collective social threats. So it is a duty of an Islamic government to prevent them proactively. For example, Khalifa Umar bin Abdul Aziz eliminated corruption from the state within 2 years. Zakat collectors had no one left to give to because poverty was eradicated. So great reference for Islamic model of corruption-free governance or operation and its consequences. Then establish prayer, give zakah and obey the messenger so that you may receive mercy. An Islamic government is not just an authority but a welfare state. So it must provide financial and social support and equal opportunity to the vulnerable, widows, orphans, elderly and poor. For example, the Prophet, peace be upon him, established welfare mechanism in Medina through Baitul Mal, charity drives and personal donations. So essential for questions like Islam as welfare state or social responsibility of Islamic rulers, and the Quran provides a complete framework for just, ethical and welfare oriented governance. Leaders are not rulers but accountable trustees of the public. Justice, consultation, accountability, public welfare and rule of law are the Quranic pillars of governance. So governance must prioritize transparency, equality and collective benefit. Memorize relevant verses with context and explanation, not just translations. Practice past paper questions with these principles as your core. Revise through MCQs, PDF notes and short paragraph writing. And quote examples from Islamic history, especially Khilafat Rashidin, Khulafai Rashidin, to strengthen your answers. So as we conclude this lecture on Quranic guidance on good governance, I hope you have gained a clearer understanding of how the Quran offers a comprehensive ethical framework for leadership and administration, from justice and consultation to accountability, public welfare and the rule of law. So these divine principles are not just spiritual ideals but practical tools for building a just, a progressive society. As future civil servant and leaders, it's vital that you carry these values into your professional roles to serve the people with integrity and fairness. So don't forget to review the PDF notes provided and test your knowledge through the Google form MCQs linked in the description. So these will help reinforce the key points we have discussed and prepare you well for the CSS 2026 examination.